Trump's tariffs might actually save you money on your grocery bill, here's what most people are getting wrong.
The tariffs are necessary because we've been treated very unfairly.
Trump's tariffs are about to raise your food prices by 20%. For instance, this $20 bottle of olive oil will soon cost about $24. And it's not just imported stuff, American products will be going up as well. But don't worry, because I have found 5 ways to not only keep your grocery bill the same, but actually lower it despite everything that is going on. To start off with, what are these tariffs and why should you care? Basically, tariffs are taxes on stuff that we buy from other countries. Trump's plan includes a 10% tax on all imports, with an even higher rate for countries like China
at 145%.
and the EU at 20%. Overall, Yale's budget lab estimates that these tariffs will cost the average household $4,700 a year, according to Ramsey Solutions. Now, people are already panic buying items like loose leaf tea and olive oil, and smaller specialty food producers are taking the biggest hit. For most of us, this is probably gonna mean being a lot more conscious about our food choices, cooking at home more, and just really being forced to be intentional with our money, something that we should be doing anyways. So let's talk about some ways to start saving money. First off is to buy some extras now, but not everything you're thinking about. You want to start off with looking at items that will most likely cost more in the future. This could be things like olive oil, chocolate, coffee, and even canned goods. And if you have enough money, buying like a 3-month supply could be a great option. The risk here is that you buy too much stuff that you're not actually going to use and the coffee goes bad. You do something that I used to do, which is buy canned goods thinking you're saving money, and it turns out you get like canned potatoes and those are just disgusting. So only get the staples that you were gonna buy anyways over the next couple months. Also, we don't want to go crazy and start hoarding because then we'll land at empty shelves again like we did in 2020. Having a 3-month supply of some basic goods that you're gonna need anyways is just general good concept regardless of this. And so that's what we're doing. You could also look at some of the bigger items. Like according to Ramsey Solutions, the cost of televisions imported by China could more than double if the companies actually increase their prices to match the 145% tariff. So like a $500 television could cost an additional $725, meaning you get a $1,225 television instead of a $500 one. That could also mean that we're like looking at multiple $1,000 iPhones. However, a lot of these companies have large supplies of things and they're not going to start raising the prices and in turn selling less product until they're absolutely forced to and they totally run out of stock and things like that. That being said, if this goes on for a long time, a lot of these more expensive tech products are going to go up significantly. Another strategy is to buy more local. This is something I've been doing for a really long time anyways, because I feel better when I'm eating local produce, locally sourced and grown things than I do when I'm getting stuff that's shipped across the world. And that's one of the things I love about community and simple living is it generally leads us to a healthier lifestyle anyways. You could join something like a CSA where you can pay local farmers directly to get fresh food. Not only are you avoiding tariffs, but you're actually helping out your local economy. And this is something that would be great for America to do anyways. Farmers markets are also great as well. Even though some of these aren't going to be directly affected by tariffs, I've been buying my meat from a local farm that's a few minutes down the road that has the cows out back for like a couple of years now, and it tastes better. It's cheaper than healthier foods that you would buy at the store, and it's directly supporting a local farmer who's in my town. We've done the same thing with milk and dairy where we're buying raw milk directly from farmers. And while this is actually more expensive, I'm able to drink it because I'm not able to drink milk that is pasteurized because of all the things that they do to it, but raw milk I'm able to drink without getting sick. So figure that one out. But kind of getting back to it, some things at farmers markets are probably going to cost a little bit more depending on what you're getting. But when you're talking about fresh produce, at a lot of times you can get that actually cheaper than you could at a store, and it's going to be fresher and healthier and just better for you while saving you money. You can even do things as basic as growing some of your own herbs. Not only is this fun and smells great, but you can also make sure that that's just one less thing you're going to have to worry about. We even made this choice with chickens where the egg prices no longer affect us because we bought chickens and now we get like 8 eggs every single day. And I realize it's not an option for everybody, but for us, it's been really cool and has actually saved us money. The next one is to plan your meals better. The average American wastes about 30% of their food. And with prices going up, we cannot really afford to do that anymore. It is also just generally wasteful, which I'm pretty against. And so having a simple meal planning system where you actually think out an entire week's worth of meals ahead of time, write down the ingredients you're gonna need, shop once for the entire week, even spend a couple hours and batch cook for that week, could help you not waste as much food as we are generally wasting. Plus, you're probably gonna eat healthier, you spend less time cooking, you save money regardless of tariffs. It's just a great idea and something that you should probably be doing anyways. On top of that, do things like never going to the store hungry, clean out your fridge, and shop your own pantry before you go out into the wild to buy more stuff that's gonna get stuffed in your pantry. Just doing some of these things we've talked about has already saved me about 40% on my food bill, and it's made a significant difference in my health even before all this tariff stuff started to happen. If you really wanna have some fun with this, you can try things like potato parties. When people come over, instead of getting pizza or doing some type of meal that's gonna cost more money, try having a baked potato party where everybody gets a baked potato, you get a couple ingredients to put on top of it, and then you got dinner that's like $1 or $2 per person. It's great if you have a bunch of people over, but it's fun even just for like a Tuesday night. Find some substitutes. This is where we might need to get out of some of our habits. A lot of us have the same meals that we eat all the time, and if one of those staples that you have involves things like cocoa, seafood like shrimp and tuna that are coming from countries that are affected by this, even tropical fruits like mangoes and papayas, imported cheeses and wine, all of those could be and most likely will be going up significantly in price. And therefore, it might be time to make a change and even diet. I know for me, I have one thing that if I cut that out, I generally start losing weight, and if I add it back in, I maintain or gain weight. For me, that's like chocolate. And so if you have one of those things and you've been thinking about, stopping drinking wine or having less cheese or having less chocolate, now might be a great time to do that. This also might make it a great time to try some new foods that you haven't tried before and get out of that routine of things that maybe are a little more expensive. And then of course we have tracking your expenses. You can't manage what you don't measure. And if you don't even know what you're spending right now on your food and on your, your basic living expenses, you're not necessarily gonna know where to cut, but you're gonna realize that you just have less money than you did before. And that's why tracking your money is a great idea. Now, I've been working with this company called WiseFi. We are actually working together to build kind of like a mint replacement app that's gonna be 100% totally free, and they are trying to make it the best free budgeting app that has no catches and like there's not gonna be a charge for it. It's gonna be great. But we're trying to get more feedback from people like you. So if you wanna be one of the first people to test that out and help us make it amazing, you can join the waitlist down below. It would actually really help us out as we try to get feedback and design this totally free budgeting app. And while tariffs are going to probably affect a lot of our lives, ultimately, if we can take care of some of the big things like spending less on housing and transportation, wasting less food, not being consumeristic and buying a bunch of stuff online, this shouldn't have a ton of impact on you. If you're not buying a bunch of things, because most of us have enough just in our closets and in our homes to live for years without ever buying more clothes or anything like that, and while the grocery bill will most likely go up, hopefully you can implement some of these tips and have it actually go down.